Far beyond the stars, where darkness swallowed the light, a massive shape moved silently through space. It was not a ship like humans had imagined, but a living being, taller than mountains and covered in scales that shimmered with strange colors. The aliens called it a prototype, the ultimate weapon of observation, and it had come to judge Earth. From orbit, the prototype looked down at the blue and green world, its many eyes scanning every city, every forest, every ocean. It laughed, a sound like thunder rolling across the skies. Such a weak and tiny place, it whispered to itself. Pathetic creatures think they can survive. On Earth, humans went about their daily lives, unaware that the stars had been breached. Children played in fields, scientists worked in labs, and farmers tended their crops. Nothing in their lives suggested the danger above, nothing except for a small shimmer in the sky that some noticed and ignored, thinking it was a comet. The prototype descended slowly, its immense shadow covering cities and forests alike. Birds scattered in panic, and even the oceans seemed to tremble beneath its weight. Every human who looked up felt an unease they could not explain, but no one guessed the truth. Inside the prototype's mind, it thought of conquest, of domination. "I will crush them," it said. "They will bow before me, or they will vanish." It was confident, for it had seen countless worlds, and none had survived its judgment. But far below, in a hidden valley, a small group of humans watched the skies. They were not ordinary people, for they had seen signs the world ignored. Their leader, a man named Elias, had studied the stars his entire life. He did not panic, but he frowned, sensing something deep and dangerous. "They are coming," he whispered, "and they are not like us." As the prototype moved closer, strange energy waves rippled across the land. Machines failed, lights flickered, and even the winds seemed to bend away from the shadow above. Animals ran for cover, and humans everywhere felt an instinctive fear. Yet in that fear, some noticed something strange in themselves, a spark of courage, a hint of something stronger than terror. The prototype laughed again, more loudly this time, confident that Earth's humans were as weak as all the others. It extended a massive claw, its shadow stretching for miles, preparing to strike. And then it noticed something, small but impossible to ignore. A human had looked at it directly, and instead of fear, the human smiled. The prototype stopped, confused, for no species it had seen had ever dared to do that. A smile in the face of ultimate power, in the shadow of extinction. The aliens' minds had no word for it, no logic to explain it. And deep inside, something stirred, a flicker of doubt, a tiny crack in confidence. Elias looked up calmly, his eyes steady and unwavering. "Prepare yourselves," he said to his team. "This is just the beginning. They think they are gods, but we will show them something they have never seen." The prototype roared, shaking the very ground, but that human smile remained. And in that smile lay a secret the aliens would soon learn. That Earth's humans were not weak, and no matter how powerful the prototype believed itself to be, there was one thing it had never understood: humans fought with courage that no beast could ever predict. The shadow loomed, the air grew tense, and the first battle of wit, strength, and survival had begun. The prototype believed victory was certain, but it had not yet measured the true power of a human smile. The sky above Earth darkened as the prototype hovered, its massive form blotting out the sun. It moved with terrifying grace, its claws slicing through clouds, and its eyes glowing like molten fire. "This world is mine," it growled, its voice shaking the air. "Every human will bow, or they will die." On the ground, humans scattered in fear, but not all. In secret bunkers and hidden valleys, leaders and fighters prepared quietly, knowing that survival meant courage. Elias stood before them, calm and determined, his eyes scanning the horizon. "We face a beast unlike any other," he said, "but we are not weak, and we will not break." The prototype laughed, a deep, shaking roar that rattled mountains and cities alike. It believed the humans would cower, that their hearts were small and fragile. "I am the end of this world," it boasted. "No resistance will last." And yet, as it prepared to strike, something unexpected happened. Humans did not run entirely. Some stepped forward, defiant, their eyes bright with resolve. Small machines rose into the air, tiny weapons bristling, and drones swirled like flocks of birds. The prototype watched with curiosity, its confidence flickering slightly. No species had dared to organize so quickly. No species had shown such bravery. From the top of a cliff, Elias activated a signal. Machines hummed, lights blinked, and humans moved like one mind. The prototype's claws fell, smashing the ground where humans had been seconds before. But the humans were not there. They had already vanished into underground tunnels and hidden defenses. The prototype snarled, realizing this world was different from all it had judged before. Humans were small, yes, but clever, and cunning beyond measure. Elias guided them silently, planning each move, each counterattack. The prototype sent smaller creatures, sharp and fast, to hunt the humans. But they found themselves trapped in mazes and caught in clever devices the humans had built in secret. The battle began in earnest, though no one could yet see the full scale. Explosions shook the forests, fire lit the night sky, and strange lights danced across valleys. The prototype roared with frustration, its massive fists pounding the ground. "It is impossible," it muttered. "These creatures are nothing, and yet they strike with such force." Inside its mind, the prototype began to sense a pattern, a dangerous intelligence. Humans were not just running, they were planning. Every escape was a trap, every move was measured, and each counterattack was unexpected. It had judged them weak, but it had underestimated something no calculation could measure: human ingenuity. High above, Elias watched the chaos calmly, a smile forming on his face. "This is only the beginning," he said. "They may be strong, but we have more than strength. We have wit, courage, and unity." Even as the prototype unleashed its fury, humans struck back with precision, using every tool, every clever trick they had. The battle was not won, but the tide had begun to turn, and the prototype began to feel something new. Doubt, frustration, and fear, feelings it had never known before. The human's courage became a storm the prototype could not fully predict. It roared into the sky, calling for reinforcements, but every move met resistance. And deep inside, one question lingered, unspoken. How could such small creatures dare to fight, to smile in the face of annihilation? The first day of battle ended with neither side truly victorious. The prototype retreated slightly, its massive form casting a long shadow across the earth. But Elias and his people emerged from their hiding, unbroken, ready for the next move. The war had only just begun, and already, the humans were proving that no beast, no matter how powerful, could underestimate their spirit. And somewhere deep in the prototype's mind, the question grew louder. Could these small, fragile humans actually survive, and perhaps even win? The night was silent except for the distant roar of the prototype. Its massive body moved slowly over the land, searching for any human movement. It believed it had the advantage, that Earth's fragile creatures could not fight back. But it had not yet seen the full measure of human courage. In hidden bunkers and underground tunnels, humans prepared quietly. Machines hummed, lights blinked, and small crews worked with precision. Elias stood in the center, studying maps and signals. "They think they are gods," he said, "but tonight, they will learn what humans can do." The first wave of the counterstrike began with silence. Small drones shot from hidden launchers, invisible to the prototype. They zipped through the air, targeting weak points, lights flashing, engines buzzing. Explosions erupted in the forests and fields, shaking the ground beneath the prototype's feet. The alien beast roared in surprise, its claws slashing wildly, smashing trees and rocks. But the humans were never in the same place twice, moving like shadows, smart and fast. Elias activated the second phase, a larger strike designed to confuse and trap the prototype. Traps hidden beneath the ground triggered massive energy pulses. The prototype stumbled, its massive form cracking the earth with each step. It had not expected strategy, only resistance. Every attack was precise, every move calculated, every human working in perfect harmony. The prototype sent its smaller creatures to fight, sharp and deadly. But the humans anticipated them, using clever tricks, fake tunnels, and hidden nets. The creatures fell into traps one by one, and the prototype's anger grew. It had never seen creatures so tiny, yet so smart. Its confidence began to falter, and frustration shadowed its glowing eyes. From a high ridge, Elias watched the chaos unfold. He signaled to his teams, guiding attacks like a conductor with an orchestra. Humans moved as one, striking and disappearing, forcing the prototype into mistakes. It roared in rage, pounding the ground, sending shockwaves, but humans adapted quickly. Every strike it made was met with an unexpected counter, every step punished. The battle stretched across valleys, rivers, and forests. Humans fought with courage and cunning, using both brains and bravery. They were small compared to the prototype, but each strike counted. Every trap, every hidden weapon, every clever maneuver chipped away at the aliens' confidence. And then came the moment that would change everything. The prototype paused, sensing a pattern, a plan it could not fully predict. A human team, guided by Elias, moved silently to a weak point. They activated a device that pulsed with strange energy. The prototype roared as light struck its chest, staggering it back. For the first time, it felt pain, real and sharp. Humans were not just fighting, they were winning, slowly but surely. Even amidst the chaos, Elias kept calm, a small smile on his face. "They thought they could destroy us," he whispered, "but we are more than they imagined. Cleverness, courage, and unity are stronger than brute force." The prototype roared one final time that night, shaking the stars above. It retreated slightly, confused and angry, realizing that these humans were unlike any species it had faced. They were not weak, they were not fragile, and their will to survive was unbreakable. And deep inside, something it could not name stirred: fear, doubt, and a strange respect. The humans emerged from their hiding, exhausted but victorious in the small victories. They had fought back, proving that no matter how powerful the beast believed itself to be, human ingenuity and courage could never be predicted. And high above, the prototype glared down, knowing the battle had only begun. But for the first time, it wondered if the humans might just survive. The night ended with tension hanging heavy in the air. The Earth was scarred, machines were damaged, and the prototype had withdrawn to plan. But humans knew one truth: no matter the odds, they would fight, they would endure. And the next strike would not be the last. Dawn broke over the scorched land, painting the skies with red and gold. The prototype stood tall among the ruins, its massive form casting long shadows. It had fought hard, yet humans had survived, and that fact gnawed at its mind. Never before had a species resisted so cleverly, so boldly. Elias walked among his team, checking supplies and weapons. They were tired, bruised, and bleeding, but their eyes shone with determination. "We survived the first wave," he said, "but the real fight begins now. They think they can crush us with power, but we have something they do not: strategy, courage, and unity." The prototype roared from above, shaking mountains and rivers. It sent waves of energy down, trying to crush the human settlements. But humans had learned, and they moved faster, smarter. Walls of light, force fields, and hidden traps turned the land into a maze. Every step the prototype took became dangerous, every attack met with countermeasures. From hidden towers, human snipers and engineers coordinated strikes. They targeted weak points in the prototype's armor, small cracks that widened with each attack. Machines whirred and fired, releasing nets and pulsing energy beams. The prototype swung its claws, smashing everything, but humans had already vanished from sight. Each time it struck, they struck back in a precise, painful retaliation. Elias smiled quietly, watching the beast's frustration grow. "They do not understand humans," he whispered. "We fight not just with strength, but with thought, with courage, and the will to survive." Teams of humans moved like shadows across valleys, forests, and rivers, striking, disappearing, confusing, and breaking the prototype's rhythm. The turning point came when a human squad activated a massive energy trap. Hidden underground for months, it pulsed with bright light and sharp force. The prototype roared in pain as the trap hit its leg, staggering it back. It had never imagined such planning, such cleverness. Humans were no longer small, fragile creatures. They were predators in their own way. Elias watched as the prototype struggled, its every move slowed. He gathered his team, signaling for a coordinated strike. Machines fired, energy beams sliced, and humans moved with precision. Even the smallest human played a part, each step timed to perfection. The prototype stumbled again, realizing the humans were not only surviving, they were winning. For the first time, fear crept into the alien mind. It had fought countless worlds, and all had crumbled. But these humans, small, fragile, and seemingly weak, had forced it to pause. Every roar was met with silence, every attack with clever resistance. The prototype's confidence cracked, its arrogance shattered piece by piece. High above, Elias climbed a ridge, his eyes on the battlefield. A small smile formed on his face, calm and confident. "They thought they could destroy us," he whispered. "But they cannot. Humans are never so easy to break." The prototype glared down at the humans, its massive body bruised and battered. It realized something terrifying, no matter how strong it was. It had misjudged humanity. This species, so small and fragile, was relentless, clever, and brave. And the battle that began as an easy conquest had turned into a fight for survival. Not just for humans, but for the prototype's pride and power. The sun climbed higher, illuminating the ruined lands and the humans moving strategically. The prototype let out a low, frustrated roar, knowing it could not win by brute force alone. Humans had found their weakness, and for the first time, the alien feared what might come next. The final battle was near, and the balance of power had shifted. The humans were no longer victims, they were hunters. And the prototype had never faced prey like this before. The battlefield was silent at first, except for the distant rumble of the prototype. Its massive body towered over the land, battered and bruised. It had fought hard, but the humans had survived every attack. Now, it knew the final confrontation was unavoidable. Elias stood on a ridge with his team, their eyes steady, their hearts strong. "We have brought it this far," he whispered. "Now we finish what we began. This ends tonight, one way or another." Humans moved silently across valleys and forests, their machines humming and drones buzzing. Every move precise, every step coordinated, every strike measured. The prototype roared, shaking the earth beneath it. It swung its massive claws, smashing trees, rocks, and anything in its path. But humans were faster, smarter, always one step ahead. Traps hidden underground triggered, energy beams shot from hidden towers, and drones attacked from the air. The prototype staggered, confused, and furious, unable to predict the humans' next move. Elias signaled the final strike, the trap they had prepared for weeks. A massive energy pulse erupted from the valley floor, pulsing like a heartbeat. The prototype roared in pain as light and force hit it, staggering it back. Its massive body cracked, and for the first time, it felt real fear. Humans had not only survived, they had cornered it, shown it the price of arrogance. From the ridge, Elias stepped forward, his eyes locked on the prototype. He smiled calmly, unshaken, his presence commanding and fearless. "You thought this world was yours," he said. "You thought we were weak. But humans fight not just with strength, but with courage, wit, and the will to survive." The prototype lashed out one last time, a desperate attempt to reclaim power. But the humans anticipated it, striking with precise energy beams and cleverly timed traps. The claws fell uselessly, smashing empty ground. Its massive form trembled, struggling to stand, the power it once believed unstoppable now failing. And then came the final moment, the one that would be remembered for generations. Elias activated the last device, a powerful pulse that struck the prototype's chest. It stumbled, then fell to its knees, shaking the earth with the impact. Its glowing eyes flickered, confused and afraid, for it had underestimated humanity in every way. The humans had survived, fought back, and now stood victorious. The prototype let out a low, defeated roar, its voice trembling with fear and disbelief. It looked down at the humans, at Elias standing calmly before it. And it understood, too late, that no force in the galaxy could crush humanity's spirit. The creatures it had judged weak were strong beyond imagination, clever beyond prediction. And in that human smile, it saw the future, the extinction of arrogance, the triumph of courage. Elias looked at the fallen beast, calm and unwavering. "Bow before us," he said quietly, not in anger, but in truth. The prototype had been powerful, terrifying, and certain of victory. But humans had survived, had outsmarted it, and had shown that no matter the odds, They would endure, they would fight, and they would triumph. The battlefield grew quiet, the humans emerging from their hiding, tired but victorious. The sun rose higher, illuminating the ruined land, the scars of battle, and the strength of humanity. From the shadows, small victories and clever maneuvers had turned the tide. And as the prototype withdrew, defeated and broken, humans knew they had done more than survive. They had sent a message across the stars. Earth's children were clever, strong, and unstoppable. And in the end, it was not brute force, but courage, unity, and intelligence that decided the war. The prototype had been laughed at, mocked, and underestimated. But the human smile, their will to fight, had sealed the fate of the invader. And humanity had emerged, victorious, proud, and unbroken. The stars were silent again, but the echoes of victory lingered. And somewhere far above, other watchers might pause and wonder if humans were truly as fragile as they seemed, or if the galaxy had yet to meet its cleverest and most unstoppable species.